I think it started, I called over to the Boys and Girls Club. I had gotten here and I didn't know anybody not from Pulaski, and really just tried to make a connection with people in our community. And the first place I heard of was there was a Boys and Girls Club. Not really familiar with how it worked and all the things they did. But I found a number, called over there, and Devin picked up the phone. The rest is history, right? Yeah, we've done a lot together.
This past summer, we got to have the first week of Connect camps ever in Pulaski, and I got to be here for that as the camp director. And it was something that just really stood out to our team. It was just y'all's partnership between the church and the Boys and Girls Club.
Where I came from in Kalamazoo, Michigan, we had a camp. And so camp has always been really near and dear to my heart. And so when Andrew called and said this is an opportunity, we were all over it.
Obviously, this is about kids coming to know the Lord and also a chance to share the gospel. And I knew that if we could just have them in the space, you know, there was a chance for them to hear something and lives to be changed, just to be a blessing. Not to, I had this conversation with him, like not to shove the gospel down their throat, but to just to be the hands and feet of Jesus and to make ourselves available to love them.
I mean, I think in this area, a lot of times, you know, we see youth who are economically disadvantaged, coming from single-parent households. Not rare to have family members in the justice system, drug abuse, etc.
You know, we see kids around town all the time. You're the same as me, but like they'll run up to us, you know, and hey, Mr. Andrew, you know, you remember me from this or that, or you gave me a pair of shoes at camp because my flip-flops blew out or whatever. But it's a joy to get to know them because it earns us the right to then love those families even deeper. God opens these doors through Connect Camp for us to be able to do that.
Kids need love here, and that's a heart that I think Andrew and I have shared since the inception of our friendship, right?
You know, we didn't know what to expect, but we just trusted the Lord, and we saw some really, really great things come about because of it.
The first day I pulled up and the kids were like, let's go. Like, I was like, this is gonna be great. It was so next level. This was my favorite hallway to come down when I would come check on the kids. And I remember the first couple days especially, a couple of the smaller friends were kind of nervous. So like being able to just like peek in the room and I'd just see like, and I'm like, okay, you're getting it, you're doing it. But it was so fun to watch your team and your team leaders just build that camaraderie. I knew they were getting loved on while they were here.
You have all the color hanging from the ceiling and all the things and the banners and kids walking in the door and seeing it for the first time. You know, just that in itself is cool to know that they are walking into a space where maybe they don't have it at home where they're loved this way, but they walk into a space that's been prepared for them, that people have put in time, and they're realizing that somebody cares for them outside of their sphere. And we got to be that. You know, that's amazing. But then you get to Gospel Wednesday, and you know, we're in the same hallway, and your leaders are like, hey, you know, we want you guys to have these conversations because you're the ones that are going to be here, right? And so we get people when we're in the hallway, and we're just, you know, praying, waiting on the Lord, and then the first kid comes out, you know, and it's with one of our lady leaders, and then another one and another one. You know, some of those are coming out, they don't know what's going on, you know, but some of those the Lord had been working on their heart, you know, and in those moments we got to have some serious conversation about what that looks like, you know, what God's doing, and just that moment alone, you know, is worth every penny spent, every sweat and tear, you know, to get us to that point, because that's why we're doing it, right? Because we want to see real life change happen just by being available, by being the hands and feet of Christ. And this was an amazing opportunity for us to be able to do that. You know, to the Lord's credit, there was about 6 families that showed up that, you know, we didn't, like, our goal is not to have you come to the door of our church and be a member. Our goal is to have you come see who Jesus is, right? And so they came and they were able to see who Jesus was. And we saw some of those kids come to know Christ. And now they're assimilated into the life of our church and are still here, you know, to this day. And so, so I was just thinking, how do we love these families the way we did all week? And this weekend when they show up, how can we make this even special for them that they're coming, you know, they're here?
I was definitely thinking, I was like, I hope Andrew asks this again, because that was pretty cool.
You talked to me before you left that day, and you said a simple statement. You said, hey, I understand why you're doing what you do now. Like, why we reach out, why are we making ourselves available? And to me, that was huge, because not only was I investing in your kids, but I invest in you because you're my brother. I love you, you know. It's not about us. It's not about First Baptist. It is about being the hands and feet and loving people. And so that was, to me, just the connection between us. That was super cool.
Yeah, it was this like immense feeling of gratitude for what God had done this week. at the time I couldn't put it into words really because I was exhausted, if I'm being frank, but like what Andrew said, I felt like it just brought our partnership even closer.
Our goal is to make relationships that last. And, for the last 8 years, Devin's been that guy that, if we're looking for a place to serve and be a blessing, then Devin's doors are open at the Boys and Girls Club. There's a lot of avenue in which we've seen God work through these partnerships that we never would have expected, that God would do, from people showing up on a Sunday morning to be a part of worship, to them personally giving financially to be a part of things that we're doing here at First Baptist. So, is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, there's not a reason not to say yes.
We as the club can't do everything. Andrew and First Baptist can't do everything. And a lot of times, you're going to come across very unique situations and families, and you have to be able to lean on one another to build people up and love on them. Every community is different, right?
Yeah.
The needs that Andrew's been able to meet, for our kids here in Pulaski is not what maybe the Baptist Church in Chattanooga can meet for their Boys and Girls Club, right? I think it's dependent on the community, but for a church leader like Andrew to just pop in one day, like, hey, I'm just trying to connect with you. You want to have a cup of coffee and just talk about the community that we're serving? Just start there, just start there.